Hey there, it's CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment in Shreveport, Louisiana, and so uh, I was so happy with this plant thus far. This um, this bit of the aloe vera uh, was bending from this leaf back here, and I like it had a crease and everything. I was really concerned about it. Um, Hated to do it, but I mean, I've heard that leaves when they get too heavy, they will tend to bend and want to break. That is why here I decided to take uh, what amounts to basically being a baby rattle, but it's one of a set of maracas. These actually came from a good friend of mine. Her name is Pam. She passed on some time ago. But anyway, what I decided to do was use it to help brace this one leaf here that was not yet creased, and I thought it could help out with some support. Um, what lets me know things are going okay is this spike, this leaf here. When it started, when I got it home at the beginning of the month, it was before the 4th. I know that, like 2 or 3 days. So it was early. Uh, but I know that this little guy, this spike here was smaller than this little guy, and this little guy was not noticed. And as of yet, I don't see anything else growing out of it. I think, well, we'll just have to see. But anyway, I decided to try to root this one leaf, and it's doing kind of okay. I mean, it hasn't like totally disintegrated yet. I do know that some of it, there's a bit of a translucency that's happening with the skin. So I don't know if it's going to take root, if I'm going to be able to save it or not. I'm trying, but my hope is that it will work. I mean, if not, then I hope that um, some of the natural nutrients that are inside will help enrich the soil, uh, and you know, maybe I can mulch it up or something like that. Because I think maybe that'll help. I don't know. I'll have to look and see. But yeah. I just, several years ago, Pam gave me these, and she gave me like a little bitty hand drum also, but it did not make it. I don't know where that went along my moves and stuff, but yeah, cool. Okay, so, and I had to learn to be really careful with these because it's like, oh my God, like I don't want them to break. So at one point, I actually super glued. So I mean, it kind of, adding that support to it, it kind of gives it a little growth. But as it gets bigger and heavier, we don't want these things to, I don't want them to fall. So maybe I can go here under it like that, and so I can provide a little support to this leaf and that leaf. Yeah. And then there's some other ones down here that also is still growing that had to be before I got a hold of it. Someone had to trim it, and yeah. Oh no. But what I do know about anything that flowers, and this it would flower, but it's not going to. In some climates, they'll flower. They won't flower here. It'll only flower in the most tropic of situations, and that's not quite where we are. But crisscross it. No, that's fine. This will do it. The whole idea is to kind of give them support, these leaves, as they kind of grow out a little bit so they don't get too heavy and break off anymore like that. And then, work on trying to get them to grow more straight up, more forward and more straight, so that so that they'll be naturally supported. You know, the nutrients, if the nutrients are right, then they'll have like a really good texture to their skin. They won't get, if their skin is too thin, that's a problem for their weight. Their skin needs to be able to hold their weight, uh, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm learning so much and having so much fun playing around with this and giving this plant a lot of love. Uh, and it takes a good 2 years for an aloe vera to reach full maturity, and then it can live for quite a while after that. And if you get it past like 2 years, a plant, it's done really well. I don't know when my friend Mike, uh, he had an aloe plant. He uh, brought it, and then there were like two plants, and so planted in the same large pot, and they were like uh, had sort of a neighboring root system because they were in the same pot, and they also supported each other and everything. And then when we were talking about how I was looking for an aloe, wanted an aloe, he was going to separate his and everything, and so I was like, yay! So this will be good here, probably in this Folgers little plastic thing for about another month. And so I'm thinking uh, towards the end of summer, going into fall, I'm going to rehome it in a more advantageous looking uh, planter situation, but also one that will enable a wider growth, a large spread within the root system. Want the root system to be strong. Don't want the plant to become so wide that it can't support itself. So I don't think this particular plant, this particular generation, I don't think it's very old. So, but like I would say it's less than a year old. Uh, so I figure if I get it and I keep it alive for a year, then that's good. It's a plant, so I mean, I know plants don't do things like birthdays. They do kind of like seasons. Like I planted this tree in the fall of such and such and such, But still, I don't have children. I don't have pets. This is the best I can do right now. And I want to turn this room that I'm in into uh, kind of a greenery, kind of a what some people would call a Florida room. Uh, the window is not quite large enough. It's not a big bay window to be called um, like a bay room or anything like that, or a sunroom. But I do want to work on this particular room here. I want it to be nice and peaceful. And what I'm going to do, as soon as I can entrap some people to come over and help me, is I'm going to move my desk from the living room. I'm going to move the desk in here, and I'm going to kind of use this as a study. I think that's where I'm going with this. Kind of a quiet room. Oh, it was going to be a studio, but I moved the instruments into my bedroom, and I just kind of, whenever I play, I'm playing in the living room, whatever, so whatever. And then if we were gonna bang on some drums or something, then we can play, because the bedroom is huge. My bedroom is as huge as this room, and this room really doesn't yet have a purpose that I've been satisfied with. So I'm thinking setting up a quiet space for meditation and reading, and I want flowers in here. And if I can keep this beautiful plant alive, um, then then I would be happy. See, what I'm pleased to see that even though this is it's becoming heavy. I'm seeing that what it's doing right now, the stalk is kind of growing straight up, and so that's what we want. We want less bending, and we want more straight growing. And I hope that this one that broke off will take root. And yeah, I just, yeah, keep your fingers crossed. I want my plant to survive because, this is like one of the easiest plants to take care of. And I'm either going to over nurture it uh, or neglect it if if I don't do it right. So, yeah. And I've been talking with my friend who's a pretty good um, horticulturalist. When I met him, he was doing flower beds for people and landscaping and some other texturing around properties. So he's pretty good at what he knows. So I'm kind of trusting his advice on that. But yeah, what I want is I want more straight growth and I want less wide growth. Uh, Otherwise, it'll continue to grow, but the leaves will break off more and more. Uh, what I want is I want them to be able to support themselves as they grow stronger. And it may be at some point, maybe I'll even start binding them a little bit. This one's good. This is good. Uh, I could see at some point it broke off, but it's growing and it's heavy. This one is still growing. So I even think the one that I got from back here, I think that's broke off a little bit. So I mean, I think it's grown since it's broken off, uh, and I'm just hoping for this one, for that one, saying prayers for it. So if you're a praying person, say prayers for my plant and pray for me to learn more about how to take care of such a really fun aloe vera kind of plant. Uh, and then also, if you're out there, I know I've got about 14 followers, which is cool. If I get a hold of some ideas on some other plants that kind of do well in indirect sunlight, then what I could do is I can rotate out. This is maybe a little bit, uh, you know, this kind of indirect, depending upon. Uh, but it's if there is any direct sunlight at this window, it's not very extreme. It's early in the morning, but it's not. It tends to be in a shady room, so that ought to help too. What I would love some ideas on some other plants that look really well. And do well in indirect sunlight, and they're kind of low maintenance, a little bit of pruning here and there, and as need be, I can rotate plants out in the window and then have them around the room. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on an indoor kind of a little uh, little quiet room, multi-purpose quiet room where I can come in here and I can work on my writing, maybe do some artwork or something like that. Sit in quiet contemplation. And if I find a purpose for it, then it will, yeah, that's cool. Then the money that I'm spending for this extra room in this apartment will be like justified. Anyway, come see us though. I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana, across the beautiful Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana. And yeah, obviously, if you come, and we have lots of stuff to do that's really great. I especially love some of our food. But if you come here and you can't think of anything to do, let me know because I will find something that piques your interest. Just for the heck of it, because I love my city. I love downtown Shreveport. I think it's great. It's got some wonderful historic stuff going on, and yeah. Of course, every place has its own individual history, um, you know. But I wanna help nurture my city the best I can in the way that I'm nurturing this plant. Uh, the best that I can. So that's kind of cool. And and then as I get out a little bit more, in the next coming months. I'm definitely still going to be shopping around for decor in the apartment. Uh, so softer decor. I think I've shown these. Hold on. I'm not putting any of these up until I find that I have enough to go up. But I want paintings or prints, but I prefer paintings or drawings and watercolors, kind of like this. And there's actually one that I want in Parkville, Kentucky, where a friend of mine lives. But yeah, it's hanging in a coffee shop, and if it's still there the next time I get up there, I'm going to be bringing it home. It's really kind of cool, and it would go really, really well along with this little collection. Okay, so I love you guys, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. It was a good day for me, by the way. That's why I'm all chipper about my plants. But I'm gonna post this video, and you're gonna be like so tired of me talking about this plant. So if you get tired of me talking about this plant, just know that as I learn, I will share whatever I learn with whatever. But I'm interested in other ivies and succulents and things like that, but I don't want anything that it's going to be a particular draw to indoor bugs or insects or anything like that. It's Louisiana. I want to avoid that. But yeah, okay. Bye. Love and light.